Omiere waneni wakwano chik wanyamu loke wanyang ni gining mono kwa nga. I am saying that since 1995, when Museveni decided that Uganda now needs a constitution, and he was part of the people who wrote it, even if he says other people will write it and bring to him, Museveni does not allow anything to pass that is not of his personal interest, personal, family, children, Muhozi, daughters, wife, whatsoever. All of this since 1995, he designed a constitution that works for him, and he's run these people. When the age limit came, almost caught up with him, he designed a new one. When the term limits came, were about to catch up with him, he designed a new one. And just like now, do not ignore the sovereignty bill, because it is purposefully for him and his government. Museveni now knows that he cannot exist in Uganda. Neither will his son or whoever is supposed to be the continuance of the what is their group called? I think they call themselves the Rwandese, but there is that name. I keep forgetting that. Kabano. They always knew that when they came and got Uganda, it would be in their hand, and in fact Uganda would become a proxy or a federation of Rwanda. They still have that goal. However, when His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu came into play, these guys have gone back to the drawing book. It is no longer business as usual. Manara yang Museveni gibini lodge don Uganda. Tam giki wigitieni omiere pegineni lodge ben Uganda ni renki chingi. Kagame kacha atika ketu wode awini wode mukena ti Burundi kacha. Mete yana ugam lodge kunu. Ikenya kacha kiwa binego ruto kopi and water Museveni money team mon kunu. I Tanzania about Suluhu kacha water Museveni Latina Museveni mukena tie kunu. Tie mabu doni lodge matie de mon maluka enini. Ine anakarma Museveni bieno Museveni oberi monyo bore oberi bene top office. When Museveni came into Uganda, he was in a high-ranking office of the Obote's military. And Obote did not, well, he worked with him because Obote too was ushered in with the help of Museveni, and he positioned himself just where he wanted to be. So we have to learn that you don't just take a pill of Museveni. Pay monyo gimoy kana Museveni gubino ukatikere. My tamani any la did lobo jamine, you know, ginayan tikatemneni weng P1. No. Nothing that the Museveni people are doing anymore that has to help any Ugandan. In fact, they purposely don't want to improve the Ugandan's life. The contrary is true. Johnny Obiero mekwanyu yom twing mo ke ken yo don lobo mo ke ken maramo beri ching jo Uganda. Constitution me 1995 ne. Okay, Benedict, thank you. Yes, the Constitution was designed by him in 1995. So I want to talk strategically about the sovereignty bill. Okay, give me just a second, please. Okay, sorry about that, something about work. Anyways, so I want to give you a picture, and this will make total sense, because Museveni and his people, Salim Saleh and onward, do not believe that they can exist in Uganda with an opposition like Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. They don't believe so. Therefore, they felt a lot of pressure because they couldn't capture Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. They have figured that if they can keep Kyagulanyi from coming back into the country, then they can deal with the remnants of National Unity Platform within Uganda for example, in several areas or districts where they have new elected members of parliament, especially the executive, the ones who are having roles in parliament and positions here and there, especially those, they want to make sure they will have by-elections in those regions, in all those districts. The Joel Senyonyi's, the powerful Zake, his district will probably have by-elections, which means they'll either be eliminated or they'll figure out a way to sue that position and wiggle in somebody new or some sort of by-election to get them into a position where they have to go back and have a rerun. And with a rerun, they will do everything under the sun to make sure that those people are rigged out like they normally do, like they did for the presidential election. Okay? So, Museveni dongeni en peramu beri lobo Uganda, I lodge me Uganda, wore muhozi bene peramu beri lodge me Uganda, teki Bobby Wine dong putie chalo position in Uganda. Gino we our constitution and gina bile enini guka chikere ni. Bile ni guka chikere we gine ni Bobby Wine dong po duge Uganda. Pien jami makwaro bile enini weng tie jami mango machagulanyi ngeyu ngarimo nyo tiu kwere la kiremoni kere kenyu. Bile ni wachi jo weng bapat ki odlega unyo organization mogo en kita wachi kere ni jami ne weng miero benefiting Museveni. Petie chik mo ma en pechami ye. Nyo family ne pe beri ma be ye. En ni pe karo. Men tek weng ma eno kero weko neno bile no karo kichulu MPs nge MPs kimene ki million mia chel NRM MPs mago chero chankwanzi ni Museveni waibi mene ki million mia chel ento mene ki kong a bill kong million piera rio. So the reason why this bill was put together literally is because Museveni does not or no longer wants to have a government or have Kyagulanyi Ssentamu exists alongside him in the opposition. He does not want Kyagulanyi in Uganda whatsoever. If Museveni had a way to keep Kyagulanyi out of the country, he would. But of course, he does not. So they figured out how can they make it legally that he cannot return or exist without being incarcerated or imprisoned for a crime from this bill, this derived sovereignty bill, incriminates him somehow, which either gets him in prison or gets him to pay a fine that he cannot even imagine he can cover. Which, that is hard to believe. But he wants Kyagulanyi Ssentamu under some sort of violation of a law in Uganda. And that is why they rushed it. So because he's going to swear in on the 12th, he would like within now and then some things to happen in Uganda that pertain to this bill that keep Kyagulanyi Ssentamu out at bay, outside of the country, or makes him a criminal. Okay? So, bill en maguker en sovereignty ni, bill en gimete gitwe Kyagulanyi Ssentamu ogo, wekpo dugi Uganda, unyo ka uduogo, kituki mako ne ole kwek keribuch. Kape enu kibigolu fine mama dira dada pian Museveni ungeyo kani Kyagulanyi bertuana ba with mo ire ye pian manera yang opposition katie no Museveni era yo keru opposition ne bene besije enu tuan opposition mapada in kego ini rom ber opposition makun dagoni wini bianyima Museveni ayo minu tich me chero ka tiji UN wako kacha en paromo chero ka tiji in ke go Bobby Wine la niano cha gange ke mako ki tweli ring ke gena ke kero gena ko lumonye Bobby Wine ke mero neko tek Bobby Wine borle tap ki chero ka neno ka bako dako ne bene ineno ini bero position manyinyi besije ini bero Kampala manaka yang pia ke mako besije ni make wono ke da ke wono ke regene Kimako manok, we camera umak no kimako, kituki bolu ne ene yo kachani ki cher ki bolu ki wai chat gangu. Monweng deal pa Museveni. Manaka young FDC Museveni aye cholo. Giti payroll pa Museveni. Mano opposition mano wiye pere. Weko endong Bobby Wine pino. Bobby Wine uberu down ma Ugandan mada. O barwi Museveni mawa komberi chawa ni Museveni peramu beru mot. Ene neno peramu cherlo mukene peramu timukimo mukene pien nge ni wode ti tuan. Pero mo ke ken makonye pe. Pien Bobby Wine uyabu wang wow wen kuberi chawa ni. Wan wen wa mira loga. Pien yang no pe wangene loga beno ramu tuere. Down no kai bogo nying Museveni kiwa pay what nying Museveni. Pay ke loga kan. Ineno. Mano wangene ka down mo matero tuch. Konye pe. Ineno. Waluor Museveni no karaman Museveni ukelu pero ke kem to twale ya choli. Luengu no ena yo bin go down the wo. Dugu di ko kada bin ka kokedwu. Ko nem chatane ne. Ko no what the gam chane ke wako. Anyway, what made ke look may be learning. So, he does not believe that since this opposition has come, Chagulanyi sent him that he will survive. In fact, that his son, his hoodlum, will survive in Uganda. So what he has decided to do is to hurry up and make this bill so that while Chagulanyi is still out there, all these things will catch up with him as crimes. Anyway, so let's see what they've done. Okay? This bill was put together by Salim Saleh Muhoozi Museveni and Attorney General Chiriowa Chiwanuka, who is a partner in the law firm with Museveni's personal attorney, who doubles as his son-in-law. Do you see how these people weave this stuff and think we're foolish? Bill and me sovereignty ni dana di matiye omen Museveni Salim Saleh wode Muhoozi en Museveni kikome dana makiluoni Chiriowa Chiwanuka ubera Attorney General me Uganda. Attorney General umed miaro no be dana matiye independent ko dana palwak mape dana matiye ki wat unyo tie ki wari kina nyol rem geni party money nyo president pien teacher Attorney General beru la dit me check I lobo money ina uber la dit me check mano mier en po be dog no wat nyo o kila rem pa Museveni gi ento kay ku ka titiba Attorney General en makiluoni Chiriowa Chiwanuka ni wa gena tie ki gena office magenti ye ki luoni law firm beru office magiti ulok me gena me beru lawyer enni ineno office ni giti partner ke kete an wani ngarmone wachi wabin ka ngara chel obed ki share nuchu piar bit no wa mi achel ko in bet ki share piar bit abet share piar bit one no watiu ka chel jemi chana ko don wa pogo inge nga ma John poko office kere Attorney General me Uganda mamiero be down pa Uganda olonge tie ki company ne kun en tiki partner ki chwanya Museveni enu ne ena yo beru lawyer pa Museveni ki come chi adeda ne wonu tam ni check moro mu wok ke nyuma ti fair check ma itamne check ramu kati kakenyu kun check mano ramu rek wai fair ni check mano go lewa chori do tumo ba oh Dennis afoyo so wata Museveni money ni kiluoni gena chwanya Museveni kiluoni karugire Attorney General pa Uganda long kiluoni Chiriowa Chiwanuka gien gitiki office gi meche achel magiti partner magiti yuka achel en madong giti yudong kichen ne ba ento karugire ena la lo chik weng me Uganda meno ni tinge katen ba en kaki kermer ki wai oh kono Chief Justice uberanga kono monweng deyo jo maloyo chiri Uganda uber joario edini mamme kachi gena chwanya Museveni ni kimoko ki ot kaki poko ki wachi wunjo la gena la ngol ko boni ni kwan chiki ene wijo chani ma pedong ni la ngol ko buti ki wiye ki gina eno kwano we ko gen utim nga ngol ko la kirmani kenyni no check a ki bot Johnny I at gay ineno Johnny uloy wa kumenu Johnny uloy wa ma kai tama petie gi mo ke ken ma pe a ki ota Museveni gi check ti ota Museveni gi la ngol ko gi ma dit Museveni lawyer ne ma oberu twanyare na Mario lokom check la dit Gangkwan minister me Gangkwan dago pa Museveni Janet la dit we mon oberanga CDF nga wore muhozi la dit we will weng me Uganda economy PDM kwa nga gini weng ti we umene Salim Saleh lok me ot lega go weng Uganda lok me lega lu parubaki go weng ti we nyare patience baki luoni pastani mala jok ma be po bet pastani anyway aya mono check en awai ka nyutu anga gi matie inge bill maki luoni sovereignty bill enini oberu jammi pa Museveni gi joba Museveni gi worry or kilurem. So the people behind the sovereignty bill, Salim Saleh, Muhozi, Museveni, Attorney General Chiriowa Chiwanuka, and a few others. The time they went and raided His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu's home and made it a barracks, they came across a lot of information such as account numbers, bank accounts, cash in the home, land titles, academic paperwork, everything they gathered and took with them. Ikarema Museveni gi orlumon karma kibolu kuilitap nindo par beach ki orlumon ganga Kyagulanyi wek endongi bera kunu dong doko way barats ni. Ikare enune magutimo gini enune. Gudonyo goy ota Kyagulanyi gutimu jamio kikwanyo jami kartany manyur bank account go weng chene makino ye weng kikwanyo go land title mati nye inge kede gwako kede karta chigang jami dang gwako jami gang kunyoni bene perach ento jonyo donyo jopa Museveni gi gudonyo gukwanyo jami weng mago kwanyo bank account manyur chene pa NUP National Unity Platform kartany mi pote ki ngongo gi dana nga gi jo anga gi magutimeni ning lok madwota gugoro weng utero go gangi utero bot Museveni tiki jami weng wa degree pa Kyagulanyi tie gang wa degree pa lutino gutero ti gangi kacha pien Museveni no miti kubercha no miti iti en ki jami pa Kyagulanyi ma ene kwanyo ni were nen kitira mo lutu kere Kyagulanyi pero endo ki wai tor cheki ubetiyu kijami enune. At the time that they went and raided His Excellency's home and took all of these documents, okay? A lot of bank information, different accounts, National Unity Platform documentation, all those things, they took with them and took them to Museveni's home. Now, all those account details are now at play with the sovereignty bill. Here is how, okay? Museveni has mafias all over the world. Like the Swedish couple that was killed in Kampala. There was some sort of link because they worked for the Swedish bank. Museveni has mafias. Museveni has people who work for criminal organizations. Museveni has people who work for terrorist organizations because in Somalia while he was there, he would be the one to hit and be the one to come and act as the savior or act as the Western world would think, oh, this man is the peacekeeper of the region. And yet he's the one hitting and the one coming back to solve the problem. Museveni Museveni tieki contacts, tieki dano ne kaweng ilobo weng, kori dano mo ke ken mai romo tamone. PNN kori lweng mo time but actually kacha LRA ni obero and my and people go down the wall the cheng dugi way gena la kwandano ne en ko di team me eno ne obera timone o ka wen chalo Somalia kacha kama o men wa lokeje gena oberiye yanke loni lion Museveni en ki ko me char go down ko nu luonge ni Al Shabaab tiki down ma no rom ker na tun ko no char go down ma tek en kumandak dugu America don wa bara ne peacekeeper me region peacekeeper karman ena ila golwen ena ibeda doka ne kumaji ye neno di wi Museveni gimoy ken ma Museveni utimo Uganda nya wang Mia Beach piano timo roka weng dok putika timo ne so bille enini ba Museveni kuberichani tieki kori down moy ken lobo moy ken joma chwalo chana Uganda madwanta joma ti Al-Shabaab tie joma ti terrorist organization tie joma ti bank tie joma ti en lok me gay ni weng ti kunu so ginado Museveni meti team so with that information and all the connection with the people, you know, the LGBT community, he has some LGBT communities outside there. He has some terrorist companies or people out there, mafias. Museveni has decided to have all those people send money onto His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu's accounts and National Unity Platform accounts. Man enjo maraj mati wako kuja mana titi wako wa ISIS gianga gini weng Al-Shabaab gi ma Museveni wai ko Al-Shabaab jo ni ani weng jo mogo mati ge kingonga organization ni weng Museveni do or giro enjo nene umini kwa chene wani utualu chene dong I accounts pa Kyagulanyi enini ki accounts pa Nup enini utualu wunu chene. So those people are now sending money, scary amounts of money, into the National Unity Platform accounts and Kyagulanyi Ssentamu's accounts as they planned this whole thing. Okay? They are sending all manner of insane amounts of money onto these accounts. The goal is to have Kyagulanyi caught up in the web of the law. Gino wero gitika time kumane gimeti check en mafuru karla wo maja enini. O mak Kyagulanyi yoko. Ineno pien chene eguni mado bedonyo ni mado donyo ko bene mogo do donyo ko ni dongo ubeberu nga chene matoro chek pien cheko kar Uganda ni Kyagulanyi kubedi chane do beru nga welo I Uganda chene matika ke wako ki wachi ene pedon ki yeba manyute jo mati Uganda weng miero chone machalo ajen ka pay chone chalo ajen waribuch unyo fine. Billion perio. So, Kyagulanyi will now be caught up in this web. Okay? And they're planning to make this huge because one of the things that's also sitting on them is the fact that they have been collecting money from the US aid for LGBTQ communities. Museveni has been collecting money for LGBTQ, even though he denies accepting or being supportive of LGBTQ communities in Uganda, including the parliament which passed a bill against the LGBTQ, but has been collecting that money. So now what he wants to do is to try to make Kyagulanyi look like the one who was receiving that money. Because now they have his accounts. They can doctor information such as incoming payments. Kuberichani don kimiru wachi Kyagulanyi don tika toro chek pien ki wachi chene ma ake wago miere peki gam unyo chene miere pol donyi Uganda ma ake wago dok Kyagulanyi kuberichani don welo Uganda en don kita cheko karne chek wachi wan weng don wango wa welo pien kari chero ka matu chai Kenya kai beru busia chero matu chai Kenya tung boda kachani iwai ke chibat chai kada dugi icham deka Uganda inde welo Uganda ba ichere matu chai Kenya we. So this makes Kyagulanyi a criminal, and they are trying to make sure that this happens so that Kyagulanyi does not return into Uganda. Chek eni kimeta Kyagulanyi dong po dugi Uganda pien ko berichane Kyagulanyi dong welo dok Kyagulanyi miere po beta gamu kurichane ene ento chane ja donya account ne koma kome pe Uganda ne Jocha uyenyo yo Museveni gu uyenyo mafia gima wako ni weng tika chwalu chene. Mogo machwalu chene ki ISIS, mogo machwalu chene ki Al-Shabaab, mogo machwalu chene ki LGBTQ, mogo machwalu organization ma pat ki wako kacha dontia chwalu chene. Any account, pien give me your number, why do chwalu chado rama chwalu. So ki chwalu chene. Loke eni ni dong, gitika yupe, chirio wachiwanuka. People like Shiryo Wachiwanuka. Yes, Benedict, it can be tracked. But these people are trying to doctor it so that by the time the facts are real, they've done what they do. Since when do they follow the rules? They never do. I wish they would. Obviously, the reason why I'm talking about this is because we can be informed and so we can pay attention. Because this will get published in Uganda and it will change people's minds in a second. So Benedict, the reason why I'm saying these things is because I want people to know that when it comes to them, they will know the facts and dismiss those, or we'll have a fighting chance. But if we leave Museveni to do what he has been doing, like he wants to swear in without DR forms, if we did not put on this heat about DR forms, this would happen naturally, like it was normal. So ngarumantika wachi ento kurichana money in your information and waramu tracking or waramu yenyene or ngo kikare. Gino wega anatika wachi loka enini ati wachine piani kache Museveni go katriki report matero kuri loka jema giti atimene kuberi chawani matero ni chagula ni bera nungu chana ki wako domi yara ki mako ko kitwe yako ni kare mukene down mukene po bingeyo kita Johnny wigi beru ka teach kere down mukene bon buye ko wai uya chagula ni kala kodo inero so anatika watch ne work diri maja ka kikero gini yoko newspaper mano kikero ko page mia chel ki wai unen kon kuoma beru ka teme mana yang unge ni ka ochero unge ki wang mateka deda unge we unge ni gine ni pagina da unge twin Museveni eno we katika teto gine. The only reason I'm coming up with this is so that you know that the last person in Uganda will know that this is not reality, that this is fake and this is not true, and that you will not think that Museveni loves you or is on your side. We have to be informed about these things. Okay? So the crime for doing this and sending this money into Uganda, the crime for Chagulanyi will be 20-year imprisonment once they have done the spread, because Shiryo Wachiwanuka is going to come up with a case against Chagulanyi Sentamu, and it will go into court because the state can sue him. So the state is going to sue Chagulanyi Sentamu with this evidence of this money coming in. Okay? And with this money and information, they are also going to spread it all over newspapers and media houses. Most of the media houses that are Ugandan or that are controlled by the last family will spread all this information. All the bank accounts will be spread. All of the maps of what happened and when and all of that will be shared. That makes it almost real to some people. Okay? It will take an effort for somebody to say, you know what, let me take a look at this and let me make sure this is right. You know where I take a look in PN number alert on my phone. Okay. So atika wachi look in mati terne work dirmada kagukeru look in PN state dong Attorney General Chirio Wadonga obu suing Chagula obu ter Chagulanyi court PN state romuter dani court obu ter court ka obu teru ka do nyuru cha deneni karatany mano giendo nguti mekere tatani wengu bi nyuru wa unen kong one po wachi uni jaleni bere tata one po wachi uni Chagulanyi lako one po wachi uni Chagulanyi beru gay one po wachi uni Chagulanyi bela kirmone kireni man patika wachi ne kumena me wachi ne jomo kene pat kide an kapiera kena in ngarmone ka de wachi timatata igangi I bedroomi meno peticha teki pe toru check pe wono ngatu kene monu megi in ka doke wai ki chere kot ka pitu ki money monu megi ana be America kuman peticha me beru police pa jo ngo madam tika timne bedroom. No, it's not my job. So down ngara chel tiki liberty me beru kita yani ya mero teki pe toru check en gina wa mete Uganda oye and no Ni bed ma ini dana. Gina yu mero chalo yer la tele ni. Kita yu mero. Kai wachi mir dirim vi kwane mir ber dakta mir bed dakta. Kita yu mero kit twero ni kingo ki gene kai ki mirni wanga mirni do chope ine tek ki pe balu chek pe tor chek ma chek be no be mir be chek ma be pe chek ma won jo kan be be en ginu wakati loko gini. Anyway, so I was saying that the reason why I'm saying this is because I want to make sure that when this comes out or comes into the media, we know where it's stemming from. Like I said, there is not a single law that is in favor of Ugandans that was made by Museveni since 1995. And all of these, the amendments are all and have all been in his favor and breaking Ugandans or any genuine opposition. Okay, so the crime for Kyagulanyi after publishing all of this information, his crime will be disobeying or breaking the law, the sovereignty law, and his punishment will be 20 years in prison. This information will be shared to the Interpol and other countries, and to make sure that Kyagulanyi, once seen, has to be arrested, captured, and returned to Uganda for crimes he's answerable to Museveni. Because of this sovereignty bill, he will now be ineligible to be or run as president. That in itself will make NUP no longer an existent or an unacceptable existent party in Uganda. Kichike enene no donga man bale ni kaki magatoni general tak do ter lo rekore tek don kod don gutimene lo Kyagulanyi loke ni dongi bichwala ko lo ma wako ka wen ka ma Kyagulanyi bera woriye ni dongi we unen we la bal en uber la bal ma chek mu ken lo mu ken twer keto ni tek no Kyagulanyi ka moy ken miero mak uduki bod Museveni gina Museveni miero en no gin ma ke luoni Interpol uber police palobo wen police yan ni mako ngar moy ka moy ken duki ka moy ken ka ma chek wachi uduki ye ka muti mo bali ye Interpol tie ki nying down ma timo bal ma do mano lobo mani miero mak ngate en ni ko ena ye cheke eni madon ki bitero non kit temo ni man gine ni kitika yupo mete mna kin ni na dini ba. So Interpol is an international police. Their job is to capture and return any criminal of any national or nationality back to where they committed the crime. So once reported, they will endeavor to get all this information out to all of the Kyagulanyi stronghold places where he has been, EU, the United States, all the other countries, everywhere where he has been present. They want to rubbish everything he has done and accomplished. All of his name, he wants to rub away from the success he has made. Museveni mete rujja ma Kyagulanyi beratem na wagoni ko weng mal jemene ober madwa deda. Okay, I forgot to mention that Mr. Chibalama, who is the founding father of National Unity Platform as a party, has passed away. In his own words, he said that he was poisoned by Museveni and Muhoozi because they wanted him to retract the party from Kyagulanyi Sentamu. Okay? Dano mao yibi yabo party makilwoni nupe. Kilwoni Chibalama. Obero dano mao be yabo party ento ogwako party nego. Piani karma Bobby Wine bino. Eno bino ki people power. Okay? Chimu 7 uchaya wai bene pe wa ki party. Ube chone kono nining me beru president. Ento rubao me ki Bobby Wine match money ni. Ma Bobby Wine Jemmy Wang ma entemo inoni tia nyim mada loyo kama wi Museveni gi oye Bobby Wine chero chino yo me no ngat eni ma beru ki part ne yang ma ogwa ko meri briefcase bena peti yu kwere ni ena yo chero chiga mo part la chono mi part ki bere wai ini chet la tena inde chero chingo e chichwen candle I mede ki part ena nyim endong Bobby Wine chero registering party gin chapoy wi Museveni gi oka why you are letting the right way opposition in the right way and don't Bobby Wine don't dong biono kuma ikare madong Bobby Wine dong pero la chona pero mo gamo pate Bobby Museveni gumako la choma kilwoni chibalamani ki puoruma pedong wache ki goya deda ki merneko ki tuju ki poison wanga pola ta la chona dong ki duki ma ki wega dong niu chero chi dok gangi u dok do itone. I was speaking about the father of National Unity Platform, Chibalama. When Bobby Wine came, he came as People Power. You know, that was the movement. But Museveni thought, oh, he's not going to make it. He has no party to register. Chibalama was able to pass on the baton, give Bobby Wine National Unity Platform. And when Chibalama refused to take back the party from Bobby Wine, Museveni took him, beat him with his son. They tortured him for months, injected him with lots of poison, and left him to go home and die. That is how today, in his own words, as recorded a few years ago, he said that when Museveni and Muhoozi had him in detention in torture chambers, they injected him with poison. Today, Chibalama is no more, and his sacrifice has been to the People Power movement. So, people power, our power. I have to run, but I wanted to at least give you that so that you're prepared for when this comes out. I hope that we've put some holes in this and they won't move forward with it. But the reason behind the sovereignty bill is all to get Bobby Wine, not any of us. Because as you see the amendments, they removed the church people. They removed certain organizations that serve the Musevenis. Because the church is in his hands. When these pastors come and speak nonsense, it's because they're fed a script from State House. Remember, they're controlled by the nude videos they have on them from somewhere in Luero. I spoke about this a few weeks ago. So, bill and sovereignty bill, ki keromere meneno ni gitoro chagulanyi wek pedo dugi Uganda wek Muhoozi do lo Uganda kita yomero kita waju kere ni dong Uganda ka dong ends wona do swearing inwe ki jeme mungma tia pon kom down we mete de to kita yomero. So ana foi wunweng, shout out to my people in Kitgum Pade. I understand I have some dear friends and followers who watch me, and I know how hard it is. I know how difficult it is to get units on your phone and you watch me. Jona danona makipade kikitgum ana foi wadeda. I win you nano video na dak latin mo endo ana marudo. Teachani wai menano ni logo kati owa bot wu. Afoi wu men nongo information and in angeni tekya pian chana make to data be kena muka na pe enta afoi wu amar wadeda ubed mabe aduogo dak dire. Bye. Hello. Hi, good afternoon, good morning, good evening. How are you all doing today? My name is Lady Winnie. I am here today to continue our conversation about Uganda. Amor wunduju utienining an latien an antena dugo away kongwa nyak lok manok. Yeah. Pangayuka utika winyama be. Can you hear me? Angeni chawa ne papat. Ki kamo ke kan mapat kubiri chawa ni chali i America kany kama wan wati ye tung California kany no chawa para chel kidak ya pierdaka bungwan. So as I'm going to speak in Acholi and English, I think that makes everything, that invites everyone here to the conversation, and I don't want to miss or forget any parts of this if I do a separate video. So welcome. My name is Lady Winnie Allison. I am coming to you from the United States. I am here to continue our conversation and give you a few updates about what is happening at home in Uganda, a country that I love very, very much. Tina duogo wekwa ki lok ma wa no lok tela Uganda aloka information manyen yup matika bino kumberi chawani maoneo ti gia mamala deda yup me lok lodge ki swearing in ki ngo ma wero jamine kumberi chawani dong tiki tuan bino ki tuan dija deda tuan a ba witch tuan a yela kuru matek dong loyo kuru matek deda. Okay, kumanok, give me just a second. I was saying that in Acholi, I'm going to translate. I was saying that it appears that at every stage of, hello Martin, thank you, you're welcome. Rogers, thank you for coming. I was saying that I'm here today to talk more about how every year or every stage of the, after elections or swearing in, especially this time, since Museveni came into power, he has amplified tension, confusion, oppression. It has become more and more uncomfortable. Him being in government, him transitioning into a new 5-year term, with every step closer to today, he has made Ugandans' life even more complicated. So I was just trying to give you that in Acholi, but give me just a second. Let me do something here. Okay, so we talked about, and I know that everyone has heard about the sovereignty bill passing. I don't want to stick with that very much, but I also wanted to bring to you the background, the reason why this sovereignty bill was hurried up, was introduced, and the real reason behind why that bill exists. Atika wachi bill money maukarni pera biero logie to twal ento tinia biero wera titiwu pingo ki royo bill Museveni royo bill enini adeda chik me gene me sovereignty ni pingo Museveni royo adeda ngo ma Museveni dong tika mietni tim ki bill eni makaru jami weng inera Museveni petimu jami ma laboitere Doc Jimmy Wang Mamu 7 chalo chiek Mamu 7 moro nyo kelo ineno chalo loko age limit uberu me en where a toy lodge kwanyo age limit oko meneno ni yak pian yang no ngatomoni kai mwaka ni do cher dong peke ye beru president Museveni loko chiek en ni wako ti ire chiek mo kene ma gene term limits Museveni no ni chiek ma chon ni umako en noko ginu chero chitamone wai gine rom la kone ning we go TPN Museveni chero chitti matata ki law constitution no me kwanyu term limits o we go dong endo ber me dong la benaka wanga dong endo wachi en pay mero unyo to toya ilodge. I was saying that every extension of Museveni existing in Uganda's leadership has costed Ugandans or caused even further tension. The sovereignty bill was introduced and passed hurriedly because Museveni wanted to prepare something for himself. There is not a time where Museveni has thought about a law, thought about passing a law, paid the MPs millions of shillings to pass a law that benefits Ugandans. It is the same exact reason that he has recently and historically he passed the term limits because the term limits were catching up with him. He was about to break the law in the Constitution. He decided to move that goalpost, change it. Next time he had to remove age limit because age limits, the constitution was catching up with him. He decided, what can I do so that I can continue oppressing these Ugandans? He moved the goalpost of the age limits to until he dies in power or something. There's a land bill that is coming, but the sovereignty bill, this is where we're at right now. Ugandans are more enlightened. You know, we can share information. We have done extreme research. We have a lot of information at hand. So I want to break down the purpose, the reason, the ingenuity of Museveni putting together a bill like this, hurriedly passing it, who it affects, really who it affects, and what plan they have in there. When I talk about in there, I mean Museveni's family, Salim Saleh Muhoozi Museveni. This one involves the Attorney General, Chiriowa Chiwanuka. As you know, the Attorney General is a partner with Museveni's son-in-law. I forget his name. I forget his name, but I think it's Rawogo. I forget his name. Anyway, Museveni's son-in-law is his own personal attorney. His personal attorney is a partner in a legal firm with the Attorney General. Do you see how these people have been fooling us for so long? Amiro tituwu kama chik me sovereignty bill enini. Gina jo chao tamo adeda. Pingo bill me sovereignty ni kikeru kiruyo bene. Petie chik mo Museveni keru. Cholo MPs oni ubinu mek uneni gineni ni ukaro. Wek chik ene moro bed Uganda. Mano chik ma konyo Ugandans. Petie kito kwanyo kede chik me mwaka ni. Makiluoni age limit. Piano mwaka chik me constitution no tieni. La dir lobo. Pero amo katu mwaka Pierre Bero. Ko Pierre Bero we bor. Pierre Bero we beach. Meno eno noni o kwaka ko. Karma dong en mwaka ne dong cher o chok o kuman. U dir gol poso. U noni parliament miero wa. O passing bill manyen. Chik manyen mayeni. La dir lobo bedwanga dota. I karma. Chake Museveni ukel constitution in Uganda in 1995. Constitution me Uganda oberu design pa Museveni kita en iyo miro. Eno weko kuberichani chik mo ke ken maloke. Museveni aye loko chik eno ni. Dok chik eno en loko kitame igin ma ubitiyu PN unyo jogangi family ne. Joganga Museveni gi kuberichawani kita dagone don kwane peni wore don antika mirtier ni ubengo la dir lobo. 1995 constitution Museveni gi en uber la dir joma choyo constitution eno kwano constitution eno liwen kam do yeni eniramu beru ento tamu jomio wen kun ngeyuni kita ki choyo kere rata ki kita en iyo miro kere kita kwako kere family ne kita kwako kere kita en miti mak kere Uganda where neni lodge me Uganda po akichie en ne kuberi chawa ni dong pedong wa beru wunu ni wek Museveni chairman obien o jome parliament charuchi beri good signing ubedong check eni po ye o miere wa neni wa kwano check wa nyamu loke Wanyang ni gining mono kwaka nga. I am saying that since 1995, when Museveni decided that Uganda now needs a constitution, and he was part of the people who wrote it, even if he says other people will write it and bring to him, Museveni does not allow anything to pass that is not of his personal interest. Personal, family, children, Muhoozi, daughters, wife, whatsoever. All of this since 1995, he designed a constitution that works for him, and he's run these people. When the age limit came, almost caught up with him, he designed a new one. When the term limits came, were about to catch up with him, he designed a new one. And just like now, do not ignore the sovereignty bill, because it is purposefully for him and his government. Museveni now knows that he cannot exist in Uganda. Neither will his son or whoever is supposed to be the continuance of the of the, what is their group called? I think they call themselves the Rwandese, but there is that name. I keep forgetting that. Kabano. They always knew that when they came and got Uganda, it would be in their hand, and in fact, Uganda would become a proxy or a federation of Rwanda. They still have that goal. However, when His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu came into play, these guys have gone back to the drawing book. It is no longer business as usual. Manara young Museveni gibini lodge don Uganda. Tam giki wigitieni omiere pegineni lodge ben Uganda ni renki chingi. Kagame kacha atika ketu wode awini wode mukena ti Burundi kacha. Miete yana ugam lodge kunu. Ikenya kacha akiwa iki binego ruto kopi and